the Chef's Table series. I'm Carol O'Connor. We're here at MIT Endicott House in Dedham on the beautiful grounds, and with me is Jarvis Green. Jarvis Green is a former New England Patriots football player, defensive end, two-time Super Bowl champion.
Yes.
His passion has gone from football, even though he still loves his football, has now turned to food. He owns his own company called Oceans 97 Shrimp Company, and he is a major supporter of Chef's Table Foundation. Our fundraiser is here today. So Jarvis, tell me how you went from football to shrimp.
Well, I retired in 2010. First of all, thank you for having me here.
Yeah, thanks for being here.
Yes, it's been an honor to be at Endicott House. And so I retired in 2010. I went to school for construction engineering. I went back into work once I retired because I was in Denver, England and Denver, moved back to Baton Rouge, Louisiana. I started working, doing the construction thing, and it got to the point I was falling asleep at my desk.
I know what that's like.
It was something for me. It was more like I want to do something different. I should be doing something different. And I mean, being retired, I think a lot of us, we try to find, we have a short window once we retire, as, being athletes and transitioning. And I always did different things and worked at Rolls-Royce Naval Marine and did some other things. So I always had a plan A, B, C, D, whatever you want to call it. But one day I was sitting on the couch and a friend of mine, he's Vietnamese, and he was like, "Hey, Jarvis." I owed him a favor. And he said, "Hey, could you come and help my family sell shrimp?" And I said, "Shrimp?" I said, "In Louisiana?" He said, "Nope. I'll go in the Northeast, back where you played football at." But I said, "I don't know anything about shrimp." And so he said, "No." He said, "We're going to teach you everything." So I did an internship for 6 months.
Oh, wow.
Learned a lot of different things. I mean, from washing the bathrooms to driving trucks to the different retailers.
Every operation of the business.
Everything from the boat, the dock, peeling, deveining, breaking heads, cooking shrimp, everything, packing shrimp, putting the box, delivering it, transportation, the entire bubble gum thing.
Right.
And I did that, and when I got into it, it probably took maybe up to a year. Got my first sale, was Big Y, and from that.
Oh yeah, Big Y, yep.
Yep, local supermarket, and just started getting into the business, learning. I did it for maybe 2.5, 3 years, worked for another company. And then I decided to go on my own in February 2015. That's when I started Oceans 97. And that's where I'm at today. Yep. So much has happened in between, more learning than anything, ups and downs.
Yep, I know what you mean.
So I think
business.
In that situation, it made everybody more rounder, more seasoned. Because it's just to have success off the bat. It does a lot of different things for you and your nature. So now we're sitting here, and I think, January 2018, we're going to finally see the light at the end of the tunnel.
Oh, good.
Yeah, so we're working with Stop and Shop and Walmart and a few other retailers across the country.
That's great.
Thank you.
You've really grown quickly. That's great.
Thank you.
But like you said, it's a lot of ups and downs when it comes to a business.
Yes, long days, long nights. It's like anything. You're going to earn something. It's going to take hard work and time.
And it's 24/7.
Yes.
It's like a baby.
Just
keep going.
Nourishment.
Yep. Well, Jarvis, thank you so much for sharing your story with us. And, I'm sure you still watch football, right?
Yeah, I watch football. I go to a lot of games. I do a lot of alumni stuff with the Patriots.
Yeah.
It's good to come back. It's good to come back and share the moments, the experience, and see what the Patriots are doing.
Yep.
With the great success that they've been having.
I know,
so it's been amazing, and it's great just to be a Patriot and also a Bostonian.
You're right. I agree with you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
So everyone, this has been the interview segment of the Chef's Table series with Jarvis Green. We'll see you next time. Hello everyone, and welcome to the Chef's Table series. My name is Carol O'Connor, co-host. I am here with Sean Hubbard. He is the Director of Food and Beverage of MIT Endicott House. Today, MIT Endicott House is throwing a fundraiser for the Chef's Table Foundation. So Sean, you're new to MIT Endicott House. Tell me more about your background and how you came to this beautiful home.
Most of my background is from the private club industry. I've worked up at the Boston College Club as well as the Tournament Players Club of Boston, working with the PGA Tour. And I'm really excited to be here with the Endicott, the MIT family.
Oh, good. I went to Boston College.
Excellent. Have you been up to the club?
I've been there once for dinner, yep.
Yeah, it's a spectacular setting, similar to this.
Yep, beautiful. And tell us about tonight's event. What's going to be served and the types of wines.
Okay, so we're starting off, we're partnered up with Jarvis Green, Ocean's 97 Shrimp. He is going to do a cooking demonstration, and he is going to do some southern cooking shrimp gumbo using his shrimp. We're going to serve that after the cooking demonstration. Then we're going to come out and enjoy dinner out on the terrace. We have some wine tastings in the other room. We're going to be trying to pair up some wine with some spicy gumbo.
Oh, that's going to be really great. Good. Actually,
It'll be a lot of fun.
Yeah, I can't wait. So everyone, we're going to go over to Jarvis, Joe Murphy, the co-host of the Chef's Table series, and our board member Fred Zagami. We're going to learn how to make those 2 shrimp dishes.
My name is Mike Fitzgerald. I'm the general manager of the MIT Endicott House, and this is the 3rd year that we've done this event to support the Chef's Tables Foundation for homeless veterans and homeless students. We have a very, very, very special night for you. But I do want to acknowledge our co-sponsors. Besides the MIT Endicott House, we have Classic Wines, which is going to be serving the wine tonight that we'll be having with dinner, as well as Dole&Bailey. Provisions company, the best provisions company, I can say that, right? In the city of, in the Boston, or the New England region, I should say, I'll get in trouble. But my little phrase is, if you go to a restaurant and they're not serving Dole&Bailey, your job is to ask why. We've had a 35 to 40 year relationship with them. All of the products, your dinner tonight, is coming through Dole&Bailey. And so without any further ado, we have an extremely special guest. And I'm going to tell a little funny story. I met our celebrity tonight, Jarvis Green, last year when he was a judge for an event. If you can't tell by now, I am originally from New York. I was born and raised in New York. I was born a New York football giant fan. But I came to meet Jarvis, and Jarvis and I believe, have a very special relationship, and I think he's got a company. He's a true entrepreneur. I mean, he worked, and you'll hear his story of how he made it through to the NFL and worked for one of the most diligent teams and the most challenging coaching staff in the NFL, and was very, very successful. And he decided to go out and start his own business, Ocean's 97, we want to wish him the best. He's become very successful with that. And we serve his products. We're getting there. We're getting there. We're getting there. Well, after tonight, we're going to be totally successful. And I am not an investor. Okay, I'm giving you that from my heart, because I really appreciate and love this guy. So I will turn this over, and you will have a great sample for. Go Patriots! Go Patriots! Okay, we also have Joe Murphy and Carol O'Connor from the Chef's Table Foundation, and the only thing I do request is, if you're careful, please do not get in front of the camera, because this is a show that's going to be on over 90 public TV stations throughout New England, and we want to make sure we see Jarvis. That's my point. A bird doesn't fly on one wing. All right, I'll turn it over to you guys.
Okay, we'll get going in just a minute here. Carol O'Connor and myself are the co-founders of Chef's Table Foundation, and we're very pleased that you were willing to come here this evening. But because of, even though he's from New York and people were booing him, without him, believe me, he has done so good to our foundation, and every penny comes to the foundation, which is great. And Mike now is actually a member of our board of directors, as well as this great guy back here, Fred Zagami, who owns Salem Deli Market, and he's a chef in his own right. So again, we're very pleased that you're here. And we have, not only do we are a nonprofit television production company. That's how we started. We're a 501c3. But because at this point we're reaching 4 million people every week and growing, we decided a couple of years ago we would try to raise enough money to put veterans. We were focusing on homeless veterans, but it's very difficult to find a candidate that could do that, to commit to a culinary school education. So now we're going to support veterans, young adults that are underprivileged and going through a homeless, coming back into society. And also, the Massachusetts Commission for the Blind contacted us because they wanted young high school students learning some culinary arts. And they called me. And I just want you to know, and this is my disclaimer, if I happen to walk by you and you feel as though I just brailled you, I didn't. I'm legally blind, and that's why they called me. So part of our third focus now is working with blind, legally blind, and also other types of disabilities and training them in an entry level to culinary arts. And if you think that's easy, have 8 students with 12-inch chef's knives that are like razor blades. But in any event, we finished our first course, and now we have 2 more coming up. So again, I ask one question, and then we're going to get started. And it's very important to me. I had a little skit, but everybody told me, no, I'm inappropriate or whatever. But the question I normally ask at the beginning of every show, and your response is very important to Carol and me. Well, more me than Carol. Do I look as delicious as I feel? Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Okay. Well, we're going to get started, and you all know, I'm sure, you all know who Jarvis Green is. And he's not only a great football legend with 2 Super Bowl rings, he's a great guy, and he's a very sincere and empathic person, which is great, and that's what we need, because we're always looking for people to help us. So he's been here before with us, helping us, and I asked him earlier, we're going to do probably up to 6 shows with Jarvis cooking some shrimp dishes, because Ocean's 97 is a shrimp company.
Barbecue shrimp, grilled shrimp.
Right. So, yeah, if you want to attend, we always ask for audience if they want to participate. And we'll be doing that, probably filming it in West Rockby in the very near future. So you can go to our website, or you can give Carol your email address, and we'll let you know. So, and then Fred Zagami, we're going to get started. How you doing, Fred?
Doing good.
Good.
Thanks for inviting me.
Yeah, I'm glad you're here. All right, so Jarvis, what are you cooking tonight?
Cooking some jambalaya, but it's going to be Creole jambalaya, because we have some tomatoes.
Okay, great. Are you left-handed or
You
right-handed?
left.
I am
But
too.
I mean, I'm not doing knives tonight.
Okay.
So I don't know what we have, and that's my worst skill in
Yeah.
chopping onions and all that good
Okay,
stuff.
Freddie, why don't you come up here? Yeah.
So I'm doing jambalaya. Back home, we cook jambalaya. You just smell that blend it all, pour some oil in it, please. Boom, done. Look, very easy. So back home, we cook jambalaya. We have the big old black kettle pots,
Yeah.
and I'm gonna say this: I've never ate Creole jambalaya as a kid.
Oh.
This is my first time cooking jambalaya.
Oh.
So that's cool.
Well, I'm not eating it either. First time. No, I'll definitely
Yeah,
taste.
can we do it back home? We do the big kettle pots, and you put all your stuff in. You know, your onions, your holy trinity. You got your oil. You put your tasso in. You put your sausage in, and you just cook it. But then you throw the rice in.
Right.
Now we all cook with rice cookers, right? Steamers. That's
Yeah.
easy. Cook in a big old kettle The rice has to be perfect. So a lot of people can't really cook the regular browns and
Right.
it's hard to cook. It's a skill.
Yeah.
Yeah, so how we start? I mean, I'm shaking like a leaf.
Well, here, let's do one thing. We talk in the show, we try to give a little bit of education. And we talk about mise en place. That's a very common term in a professional kitchen. And it means having all your ingredients, everything in its place, which Chef Jarvis, you actually do. So,
I'm a chef by association.
there
Remember
you-
that.
yeah, that's okay. So your Holy Trinity,
Yes, sir.
celery,
Yep.
onion,
Yep.
and peppers.
I'm looking at this, man. Bell peppers.
I told you I'm legally blind.
Okay.
Okay,
Yes,
so that's the first piece of his mise en place.
All right,
Okay,
baby.
so he just threw an onion in there, obviously, to see if the oil's hot enough, and it is. So your mother taught you something.
Yeah, she did.
Very good.
I'm gonna say one thing, Joe. Like when I cook, I don't follow ingredients like recipes.
Right.
I just go for taste and flavor.
That's
So when I was in college, I used to cook in a big old stock pot.
yeah.
I always kept my, I lived off campus my first year, so I always kept my roof, the door open.
Right.
And I always put the big old pot for the team. And I always tell the guys, make sure you clean up after yourself.
Right.
Most of the guys didn't do that. So.
Now, did you go to LSU?
Went to LSU, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah, okay.
Yes, sir.
So, Jarvis, I know you don't have where you're putting all these ingredients in. You don't have your Super Bowl rings on.
The whole story, man.
Yeah, well, I just want to share one thing. Fred Zagami is one of the biggest, most committed, devoted Super Bowl fans I've ever met, okay? He doesn't care if they're playing in Hong Kong, he'll go, okay? So Freddie, Jarvis doesn't have his Super Bowl.
I brought mine today.
Very good.
Five times Super Bowls yet.
Right, so Freddie has 4 of them, and you already ordered the 5th?
One, yeah.
Right, but
This one is all 5.
that shows all
I thought it
5.
would be a little bigger than his.
Right, right.
It's a big ring, man. When you gonna wear it? So just get everything brown, the Holy Trinity.
Yeah.
Very easy, guys.
Yeah,
So from that, you got chicken. So I have some raw chicken.
right,
Or we could go and speed up, 5 to 8 minutes and get some
right.
cooked chicken. We got some andouille sausage. You heard that before, andouille?
Yeah,
It's like chorizo and
Yeah.
other Portuguese stuff in a different country,
Right.
but we all got the same habits, good habits, right? Then we got some tasso, some seasoned ham. So back in Louisiana, they season everything. Chicken, quail, lamb, alligators, duck, whatever you want. You go buy it from specialty stores.
yeah.
Very good for flavor.
Now, this is a spicy, hot spicy dish, right?
It's not,
Oh, it
but
is?
you can add some hot stuff.
Yeah, I don't like
But of
spicy
course, we
hot.
don't have anything hot here, so we're okay for today.
Okay.
But I think that,
Well, we have a little Tabasco over here.
okay, little some of that.
Yeah, okay, thanks,
Now,
Fred.
now the rice is all cooked already, so when you're cooking this, if you go to the recipe book, they tell you to put the Holy Trinity in, and then you got your meat you put in, you ground it, and then also you got your tomatoes, you got some chopped tomatoes here, we got some, what is this, marinara sauce? What is this?
Yeah, probably is.
We're not making spaghetti. And from that, you add your rice in it with some water, but we won't be adding any water because the rice is cooked already.
Right. And if you're the home cook, you'd like to do this, say you come home from work, you have to get something together quickly, cook your rice beforehand. You could actually do this a couple of days before and just refrigerate it,
But Joe, look, I'm gonna say this though, I'm a rice cooker guy.
yeah.
You got a pressure cook, you can do this in one pot.
Right.
One pot is very easy. The biggest thing is just make sure you add enough water for the rice. You don't want to overcook the rice and
Right.
hard rice with the
Right.
meat.
And that rice will take on some of the flavors
Yeah.
as well.
So, let me talk a little bit about myself.
Go ahead, man.
Okay, I won 2 Super Bowls, so what's next?
Well, he told me a very interesting story. Even though he was raised in Louisiana,
Yeah.
his uncle was a naval
Oh, yeah.
person and retired here in Boston. And he lived here for 45 years?
Yeah, 42 years with one of my uncles.
Yeah.
And, but we were talking about that, but then we were talking about my auntie. Because after this, I'm going to do some Mama Green shrimp fried rice.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
And
yeah, that Mama Green's, that's not the name of it. Well, maybe it is, but Mama Green is his mother.
Right.
And this was his, when Mike Fitzgerald was telling me about it, I said, I've never heard of Mama Green. He said, you dope, that's his mother. So,
That might be a better label.
it might be. Add a little garlic for a little more taste. Garlic is always good, guys. Good for the heart.
yeah.
But I started to, so for Ocean 97, I got into business 5 years ago. Did the entire Forrest Gump thing, but every time I go in the room, people say, don't call me Bubba. That guy, Bubba, they saw the movie. I tell people I'm Tom Hanks. When I started the business, I owed somebody a favor. And when I got into it, I didn't know anything about the shrimp business. So I had to go down South Louisiana to a plant to back up the swamp. It was behind the swamp. And I did that for 2.5, 3 years, but the internship was 6 months. I started off in a bathroom with a mop and a broom. Did that for about 3 weeks, and then I went into the kitchen. Then I started getting on the line with the shrimp, deveining shrimp, peeling shrimp. Add some rice, give me some of that rice. And then from the docks, deheading, deveining, peeling, freezing, driving trucks across the country. And then I got into sales, got on the shrimp boats. I did all that like in 6 months and got into it. I loved it. Never thought I'd be in the shrimp business. I went to school for engineering. But I remember when I was doing construction, I was falling asleep at the desk. I did a job, and I said, this wasn't for me.
Freddie liked that.
Like that?
Yeah, because he's into the football.
So I add some rice. So we got the tasso in there, we got the chicken in there. Did I forget anything else? Shrimp is later, but I got some rice here. I'm not measuring this, guys. I'm just getting it going. When you eat the same, like shrimp fried rice, so popping about the bottom. Now look, so when you eat it out in the kitchen, when it comes in the kitchen, it'll be a little different. So they cooked it the right way, but this is still good. Trust me.
Last year when I had first with Jarvis, I said, so what did you do? Throw Lieutenant Dan off the boat into the water and pick Forrest Gump off the dock? Thinking I was funny, he just grabbed me and pushed me behind and kept talking. But I'm sure you've heard that 1,000 times.
Yeah,
right?
1,000 times.
But when I said it was funny, right?
Funny guy, Joe. Funny guy.
Very good. Now listen, everybody's gonna get a taste of these two dishes afterwards, so,
The one dish, then we go to dinner, Joe.
oh, okay, fine.
Forgot to read the roadmap.
Mike, do we really have time to mess with the shrimp fried rice? So I can just talk about it, no?
Sure.
No, we got time for you to show it. and-
I think I was rushing people, you know?
Everybody get a sample.
You know, I don't understand. I say something and you shut me down. You say something and I say, yeah. How does that work? Hey, come on.
Joe, I'm digging it.
Feels bad about being
So I have the shrimp in there. You could do more shrimp. Shrimp is good for you.
It smells delicious. Now,
Good for you too.
It's raw.
right.
Yeah, it's raw. So like if you do this in a rice pot, I mean, I would pre-cook the chicken, pre-cook the meat, and then the shrimp is always last. You don't overcook the shrimp. You don't want it mushy. And please, when you cook shrimp and you buy shrimp, buy domestic shrimp, please.
Yeah, well, I was just going to ask you about that. Now, this is a domestic product as opposed to Thailand, China, God knows where else.
Right.
And it's Joe G. Elijah shrimp, I like to go.
Well, when it comes to import shrimp from the Southeast Asia, that shrimp will grow to this big. Shrimp that never stops growing. It's not like a fish in a fish tank is contained. It keeps growing. So I've seen shrimp this big before. And the shrimp out there, it grows in those ponds, so you don't have any predators. And it's more like a, I don't know, chicken farm or what. Somebody say, I need some medium shrimp. We go out there, look, we got different ponds, some small, medium, large, extra large, colossal, extra colossal. And shrimp grows so fast once they get to a certain age. You know, so that's different. That's import. But in the Gulf of Mexico, when they get shrimp, it's called wild caught, and people ask why wild caught is so expensive. So when these boats go out and trawl, when the trawl come down and they drag the bottom, or they got the auto trawl, they don't know what they're picking up. It could be a car. They don't know what they're dragging until it comes up. And when it comes up, everybody praying, they're praying for gold. Big shrimp, big shrimp. It might be 20,000 pounds of 70, 90s. You're not gonna throw that back in the ocean, because it's money, right? So that's the thing about the wild caught. And then sometimes a guy finds a gold mine and he got big old 912 style shrimp. So that's the difference between import shrimp, that they always have shrimp all the time. So last year America ate 1.6 billion pounds of shrimp. 8% was domestic.
Wow, that's all?
This year they're breaking the record. They're at 1.8 right now.
Wow.
So we eat a lot in America, right?
Right. So currently, your product is sold in food service, correct?
Dole&Bailey. I've got a bag right here.
Yeah. And, but rumor control has it that you're gonna be doing some retail package. Is it prepared meals?
Yeah, so it's a value added. It's Ocean 97 is the brand. That's another brand, Blue Bayou, it's food service. And it's a 12 ounce bag of shrimp, 8 ounces. 12 ounces of the total bag, 8 ounces of shrimp, 4 ounces of sauce.
Yeah.
The same stuff is on QVC right now, but you can go buy from Stop and Shop hopefully January the 15th. Yeah.
Very good.
I feed 2 people, $8.99, $9.99, very affordable for domestic shrimp.
Wow, excellent. Yeah,
A lot of color in that pot, a lot of color, pretty.
oh, yeah, yeah. And I gotta tell you, the aroma is
I didn't even break a sweat.
I told you I'm legally blind. I got one way or the other. Yeah.
Smells good.
Excellent.
Okay, so this is a jambalaya, pretty easy, folks, and
Can we plate that up and just show it? Do we have plates, I hope?
the biggest thing about cooking shrimp is not overcooking it, correct?
Well, use this. Use this
Y'all eat
plate.
sushi in here? So sometimes if you do cook the shrimp, you don't overcook it, you're not gonna kill yourself. Trust me, if you're eating sushi all the time, you're gonna be okay. But once you overcook the shrimp, it's not good anymore. Things like rubber, texture.
So what I'd like to do is just plate this up and we'll set this on the table. Yeah, I'm sick of just standing there.
Get some action.
Okay, so let's do some mama drink. Do we have another?
Yeah, we have
Okay. So this Mike Fitzgerald, the general manager, told me, when you
Let's
talk,
make it on Mike.
when you talk about this dish, the tears come down your cheek. Is that true?
Who said that?
Mike? Because this was your mother when she told you?
All right, come on in.
Yeah, you
Joe,
know,
just to interrupt, we have a taste of Jarvis's jambalaya. He got here early today, and we had him down in the kitchen working very hard. That's exactly what, that's according to Jarvis's recipe. And I guess, you know, Joe, beautiful dish, beautiful dish. But in getting to know Jarvis, really to be very sincere with you, in getting to know Jarvis, we shared a lot of stories about where we came from and our lives, and he shared a story about his mother, and he's going to share you a dish that was very, very personal to him in growing up. And I think the last time we spoke, you said, when I came in the door and I got that smell, I knew we were having Mama's shrimp fried rice
that's
tonight.
right. Y'all ever seen Ratatouille before? Ratatouille, the little cartoon. And when the guy had the ratatouille at the restaurant, the guy, he ate it, and he went back to his childhood. When he opened, the door opened up, he walked in. that's what this is like when my mama cooked the shrimp fried rice. Oh, very easy. Shrimp, scallions, and soy sauce. That's it. And we went crazy for this stuff. And I'm gonna just cook it up, and y'all won't have this to taste, so we just cooking it for show. Have some conversations, and my mom. Well, let me go back. My great auntie, she's Japanese.
What's that?
My great auntie,
Oh, you're great.
Auntie Fuki. So my great uncle served 3 terms Korean War, and he met his wife to be, and he traded a cow for my great auntie, and they got married and came to America, had 9 kids. And when she came over here, everybody was, for us growing up in the South, we wanted to know more. I mean, the Asian culture coming in, from that time, that point of time. And my mom said, hey, she taught me how to cook it. And when I asked my mama about the recipe, I said, Mom, give me the recipe for that shrimp fried rice she used to cook for us. And she told me the recipe. I said, that's it? I thought they had more stuff in there. She said, baby, that was love.
Good one, John.
So I just thought they had more stuff in it, but I mean, just growing up and just tasting it, I mean, it blows away. It was very simple. If you want, you can add eggs to it. But that was Mama Green's shrimp fried rice.
So you got that pan going really hot. I can see the
See it?
oil moving. I can see that it was, yeah, it was shining. Okay, as if you're in the audience when this show is there, they're gonna hear thousands of people talking in the background. We do have guests here tonight, so they're just really enjoying everything.
Y'all enjoying the jambalaya?
Oh, yeah. Excellent.
Was it spicy at all?
What's the spice?
I don't know. I mean, I eat cayenne pepper.
Spaghetti!
Okay, so you're cooking the shrimp right now. What else is in there?
Got some scallions in there.
Excellent. And the rice is already cooked, so we're gonna basically give it a reheat,
Yeah, that's
maybe a
it.
little color.
Yep. It's a big spoon, man.
Yeah. Well, you're a big guy.
Are we doing any Q&A or what? We just sitting up here looking good?
This crowd,
Great crowd, huh?
yeah, oh yeah.
And the rice.
I gotta tell you folks, it really does smell great.
That's some fast food all, man.
Yeah. Now, there's no garlic in it.
No, you can add garlic if you want. You just add the soy sauce and soy sauce. I mean, just make sure it's all brown all the way through as you cook it. And again, folks, I'm telling you, when I was a kid, who was fighting to get to the table?
Yeah.
And then when I started understanding food and what you put into it, and it just blew me away with, again, when I found out what was in it.
Right. Pretty simple
Yeah,
ingredients.
that's it.
So, do you have brothers?
I have a twin brother, but I have 4 siblings.
Oh, wow.
My mom had 2 sets of twins. We're the youngest.
So did you, when you said you were fighting to get to the table, were you the biggest?
No, I wasn't, but we fought every day.
Oh,
I mean, I remember times my brother and I, we broke fish tanks, windows, doors,
wow.
everything. I mean, brooms, mops. But we had a good time. Done.
Excellent. So, it's that simple. Okay. And it smelled great, looks great. Geez, I heard somebody yelling when you were putting this dish together. Put your uniform back on. I don't know if they were trying to be fresh or.
No, look. I feel good, but I don't feel great to get in the field.
We need you though. Defense is hurting.
I just serve some water bottles. Pretty easy.
Can your man Vince cook?
Vince? Oh, come on.
Go for it. Is he a good cook?
He's a barbecue guy. He likes flipping birds on the grill.
Okay, this has been a presentation by former Patriot and shrimp purveyor, Oceans 97, Jarvis Green, and he did a little bit of Southern cooking. So folks, let's give him a hand.
She asked where's the restaurant. Everybody asks us. Yeah, I'm a shrimp supplier, distributor. Ocean 97 with Dole&Bailey.
Well, we can go to his house Sunday. Why not? Why not? And we want to thank. Look who's got his kisser right in the middle of it. Where's Freddie Zagami? Here's our backup chef right here.
Great job.
And Rick Fitzgerald, general manager at the MIT Endicott House.
I already explained that.
Welcome back. I'm Joanne Keaveney, chef and dietitian. What a crazy combo, I know. Don't ask. What I wanted to do is just really briefly go over the health benefits, and it's so terrific that you're doing spices today because so many spices that we're getting used to. I grew up, I can relate, Joe talked about an Irish family, so we had salt and we had pepper. That was it. Fridays was fish. But Indian cooking, Indian cuisine, it's really an art, and there is a spirituality involved. It's very deep. And I think it's just terrific that you're all here to learn more about it and how we can expand our knowledge. So one of the things I want to talk about that's a main staple is turmeric. Turmeric is a root, it's a cousin of ginger, but turmeric is so amazing. The yellow color that you get in turmeric is from curcumin in the turmeric. And what's so interesting, you can buy it as a root. It's a tropical plant and usually grown in tropical, subtropical climates. And the thing with turmeric is if you buy it fresh, you have to be careful because it can stain your hands. You can take a little bit in like a cheese grater and you can shred a little bit in your recipes or rice. A lot of people put it in their shakes. But the thing with turmeric that's really important to know is you just need a little bit amount, ideally per day. It's an anti-inflammatory herb. That's its claim to fame. And there's something called ORAC, O-R-A-C. You can Google that, good old Google. And ORAC gives a value of the antioxidant properties. And antioxidants and polyphenols, a lot of times we hear about vitamins and we hear about minerals, but there's something else called antioxidants that supposedly can help if a cancer cell were to invade. It will help strengthen your immune system. Now, I want to be crystal clear. I'm not saying turmeric prevents cancer. What I'm saying is, how do people get all diseases is an inflammatory response. Turmeric is one of the top antioxidants in the world for anti-inflammatory. So the research is there's certain things that have an anti-inflammatory effect, vitamin D being one and turmeric being the other. But on that ORAC value scale, turmeric is at the top. So I would encourage you to, if you can't get fresh turmeric, because a lot of times when you go to the supermarket, that has been on a plane or a train, refrigerated 6 months or 3 months ago, and a lot of times by the time it gets to the supermarket, it starts to lose a little bit of its antioxidant value. So make sure you buy organic. I really believe in organic. The other spice that I wanted to talk about briefly before we wrap up is cinnamon, and cinnamon is amazing, and I'm so happy that you have fresh cinnamon. I used to live in the Caribbean and we have plenty of that. It comes from a tree and it's the bark. And with cinnamon, its claim to fame is that it helps control blood glucose levels. A lot of diabetics will add cinnamon to their diet and they'll have better blood sugar control. However, more isn't always better. The guidelines for cinnamon is 1 teaspoon per day. It's very important to make sure you just have 1 teaspoon a day. A friend of mine had the McCormick in his house and he was going through a bottle per week. I said, oh my God, and the problem is too much cinnamon can ruin liver function. So just make sure you only have 1 teaspoon per day. So cinnamon is terrific. I would put that in my oatmeal in the morning with walnuts to help with the cholesterol. I would use it, of course, on this gorgeous Indian cooking show that we have today, the Spice Mantra, and I put it in my protein shakes. You can do an organic, vegan protein, like hemp protein, for example, almond milk, ice, vanilla extract, cinnamon, and you can even put a shot of espresso. So anyhow, I'm really glad to be here, and I just want to say encourage the use of spices. Break out of the box, break out of the shell, and try to be inventive and use all different kinds of spices, and you'll be healthier for it.
Hi everyone, and welcome to the coffee segment on the Chef's Table series. My name is Carol O'Connor, and we are here at Recreo Coffee and Roastery in West Roxbury. And I am here with owners Hector and Miriam Morales, and we're going to talk about beans. I didn't know there was so many different beans, and they're all different blends, different shades of them.
Yeah, well, these are actually roasted. And so they're not blends because remember they're single origin.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
So you learn everything.
Yeah. But you know, this is the different roast that we do here at Recreo. We start with the green bean that you saw with our roasting. And it always starts green like this. This is what we bring from the farm. They're hard and they're smaller. As we roast them, we roast in 3 different roasts. We roast a light roast, a medium roast, and a bold roast. And as you can tell, the different shades, there are different temperatures that go into there and different timing that go into that. And the last one we have here is our decaffeinated. And one thing we do here at Recreo is we don't do that traditional decaffeination, which is through a bleach to take out the caffeine. We send it to Swiss Water Company in Canada. And what they do with the Swiss water is they decaffeinate the coffee with water only. So there's no chemicals added. They put them in big pools of water for 12 hours and they extract the caffeine through that filtration. But so you can tell we roast our decaffeinated in a bold roast. But you can see the different shades.
Yes.
I don't know if you know, but the lighter the coffee, the more caffeine it has.
I didn't know that.
And a lot of people think, this is a strong coffee, it's bold, so it must have a lot of caffeine. It's the other way around.
Always
Our
thought
lighter, this one is a lot more oily in the coffee because it roasted longer.
Okay.
And so more caffeine comes out of those beans as they being roasted.
Wow.
And so here we go. This is the 3 roasts that we offer here at Recreo.
And this is the bolder taste,
That's the
though.
bold taste.
Yet the light roast has more caffeine.
Right.
Wow.
Right.
So wow.
The thing is that as you roast,
Yes.
the bold roast is at a higher temperature for a longer time. So all the heat goes to the core of the bean, and it cracks the core. So the oils of the bean and the caffeine flushes away a little. So that's why it has less caffeine than the light.
That is.
But the flavor is stronger. It's a strong flavor.
Right.
And because we're single origin, it's a bold roast. It's very smooth, very mellow when it's finished. That's a characteristic of single origin coffees.
Oh, so guys, Hector, I'm going to have to try the bold. I'm
So
always
Carol,
going.
go for the bold.
I'm going to have to go for the bold. Thank you for that. I'm going to try that the next time, definitely. So everyone, this has been the coffee segment on the Chef's Table series with Recreo's owners Miriam and Hector Morales. Hello everyone, and welcome to this week's Farm to Table tip on the Chef's Table series. I'm farmer Carol O'Connor, co-host. I am here with Steve Farrell, the farmer's farmer, and we're going to talk about Steve Farrell's irrigation system to keep all the produce, the tomatoes, nice and watered.
Well, we are in a tomato field.
You have a mass production of tomatoes here.
We have quite a few.
And you all have, and each row has almost a different name.
Right,
What-
we have a lot of different varieties. We label them. This is Brandywine, the Aussie. We do some hybrids too.
Oh,
A
yeah.
lot of cherry tomatoes. And we really look for tomatoes with the best flavors.
Yes.
And it's nice to have some mixed colors. We plant all of the tomatoes on raised beds with a plastic row cover.
Okay.
And that not only controls the weeds, but it keeps the evaporation to a minimum. And the black plastic draws the heat to warm up the soil in the root zone more.
Oh, okay.
But then we mentioned irrigation. We use mostly drip tubes, which we'll see in a minute, to water underneath the plastic. And a number of reasons for that.
Yeah, I was just going to ask you that.
Yeah, one, the biggest disease hazard for tomatoes is for the leaves to be warm and wet. And if you use a sprinkler to water your tomatoes, you're opening it right up to
Disease.
breeding disease.
That's a great tip, everyone. Especially if they're trying to do it at home,
Right,
make
yeah.
their own garden.
So then
good.
when we use a drip tape underneath the plastic vapor barrier, in the first place we're just watering half of the area, not the whole area. And the evaporation is limited, so we save water a number of ways. And we used to water from the stream, but as we got into more food safety concerns the last couple of years, we started testing our irrigation water.
It just
And what I thought was a nice pristine stream
pristine wasn't.
coming out of the woods over here wasn't quite that clean.
Yes, I'm sure.
So we
Animals.
put a well in, and we were very fortunate. The well's about half a mile from here,
Yep.
but we were able to get about 100 gallons of water a minute.
Wow.
And we put a 20 horsepower submersible pump in the bottom of the well, and we have 4-inch pipe underground all the way from the well here and
beyond.
several of the other fields.
Wow. What's this, Steve?
Actually, these come in a big roll, and there's a special tool you poke a hole in. This spur just slides in, then you can just turn the valve on and off.
Oh, amazing.
Waters every line right down the field. We'll do about half of these tomatoes at one time, one watering. But you can drive over this and step on it. It's pretty
Right, it won't
doable, right?
it won't pop.
Even under the dirt, you'd think it was flat, and then you drove over it, it wouldn't
You wouldn't even
open
notice
up when
it.
you put water in, but
Oh,
it does.
really?
It swells right up again. This pipe has 2 wires that go down to a sensor there's a battery in this tester I use to hook onto it, and the measures the conductivity of the sensor based on the quantity of water in the sensor. And this gauge will read 0 if it's completely saturated.
Okay.
And now if they're out in the air with no moisture, it goes up to a 200. So we'll see what this reads here now. We watered here a few days ago.
It's like a science project.
You just clip these 2 connectors on. And we push it once to wake it up. And now we got a reading of 21.
Oh,
And that means it's about time for us to water again. We water until it drops down to about 12 or 14.
interesting.
And this sensor is buried about 6 or 8 inches
Okay.
down in the root zone. And we have learned now that to bring that down, we'll probably have to water here about 5 hours now.
In 5 hours?
4 or 5 hours
4 or 5 hours of
of watering.
oh,
But
wow.
it's just such a tiny amount comes
Right.
out continuously over this whole several
Oh, I
acres
understand how you do it.
of tomatoes.
So, Steve, for the home grower of tomatoes and other types of produce, when do you suggest they should water their plants and what they should look out for? Because you gave a good tip about how you don't want to wet the tomatoes.
Right, it's best if the disease builds quickly when the leaves are warm and wet. So anytime you can avoid having warm, wet leaves is good. So if you water like at 4 o'clock in the morning. That would be good for you.
Oh, yeah, that
Yeah,
early?
Right, yeah.
Yeah, Carol's not getting up at 4. I'll do the 6.
Or else in the evening, but probably the morning's better because your dew is already on.
Right.
And after you get
Good
through
point.
watering, they'll probably dry about the same time it would have dried anyway.
Yeah, that's a good tip.
But there are a lot of things that get
That-
more technical all the time.
Yeah,
as
and
we
people would
go
never
on.
know with the farm. They just think you just hold a hose
Yeah.
and don't realize you can't water the leaves. You know, so that's a good tip. Well, Steve, thanks for sharing this irrigation system. It's wonderful. I mean, you need it.
Yeah,
You have a,
oh yeah,
have a-
especially this year has been very dry, and we've been doing
has
a lot
been.
of watering.
Yep, this big production you have here. Things I learned from you, Steve Verrill,
Thank you.
Farmer's Farmer. Love it. So everyone, this has been the Farm to Table Tip at Verrill Farm. I'm Carol O'Connor, Farmer Carol, with my good friend, Steve Verrill. And we'll see you next week.